The Story of the Three Coins is an adventure game that you create. It's designed for ages 6 and up, 2 to 5 players, although I argue that you can play it solo, and it can take 20 minutes or as long as you want it to, depending on the complexity of your story. Everything about this game is designed to encourage quality storytelling. The box itself is a really well-made book-shaped box that magnetically closes, as well as the playing board, which also looks like a book. This game includes a game board, 5 unique conditions dice, a deck of cards, 3 coins, and an inkwell for writing stories. There's 3 types of cards in the deck. There are creatures, places, and objects. The story writing inkwell has a physical slider to reduce ink each round. In order for the hero of the story to reach their happily ever after, there must be ink remaining in the well by the last turn. The 3 coins that come with this game have on one side an identical symbol and on the other either 1 or 2 inkwell drops or a book. It also comes with 5 conditions dice. 1 is about weather, 1 is numbers, an emoji dice, a color dice, and a dice that has tools. To set up the game board, you make sure that the inkwell has the slider on full, and you shuffle the deck and place 3 cards on the first 5 story panels of the board face down. Pick up the remaining deck and draw cards until you have 3 creatures. The players must agree on which creature will be the main character of your story. Roll a dice to break ties. You place the hero in the little plastic stand provided. For this story, the pirate will be the hero. Draw 3 more cards. These can be anything, not just creatures. The first storyteller chooses which one is the happily ever after for the hero and places it in the end slot on the board. The storyteller then begins the story and continues to tell it, naming the hero. They stop when they reach an event or decision, ending with the words, "What happens next?" Ferdinand the mediocre pirate lay in his cot dreaming of moonkins. He was enchanted by them and had always wanted to meet one, perhaps even befriend one. To him, they were majestic creatures. He felt his life was unfulfilling, so he set off on an adventure to find one. What happens next? The current player turns over the 3 cards that are on the first story slot and spreads them out. They secretly must guess which card the next storyteller will choose to continue the story. They place the coins face down on each card. The book coin means you think that is the most likely card that the next storyteller will choose. The coin with 2 drops of ink is the least likely that you feel they will choose. The goal is for them to choose the one with the book, but you must not reveal where you're placing them. It is now the next player's turn to become the storyteller. They choose whichever card they would like to further the story, flip over the coin, and if it's an ink drop, they reduce the inkwell by that number of drops. They then place the card they chose on the game board in the open slot. The new storyteller rolls all 5 dice and chooses one of the results, then places it in the die slot above the card. The story that they tell must include the scroll and the shovel because these are what was selected. While cleaning on the ship, Ferdinand had come across a map written in a strange language that he couldn't read. However, on the map was a forest with a drawing of a moonkin. He waited for the crew to be asleep, hit the guard over the head with a shovel, and packed up his map and swam to shore. What happens next? The next storyteller repeats the process. I chose the beehive, so the ink dropped 2 levels. This process repeats until you either reach the moonkin or the inkwell runs dry. If you reach the moonkin, the storyteller explains how Ferdinand reaches his happily ever after. If the ink runs dry, the storyteller then tells the sad tale of how Ferdinand was defeated in his mission and never reached the moonkin. A few thoughts I have about this game are that you could play this alone by shuffling the coins face down so that you don't know which one is which and placing them randomly on the cards. Because the cards are always face up, you could include any cards that would prompt a story: Magic the Gathering, Pictionary, tarot cards, language learning cards, etc. You could always use this as a writing prompt to tell stories. It could be adapted to take the place of a GM in a campaign, and it can be played with kids or adults.